Welcome to your Tech News Today, where we keep you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Wednesday, February 6th. I'm Mike James. Coming up in just a bit, another restaurant chain has been hacked, putting your credit card information at risk. Then, a popular web browser can tell you if any of your passwords have been exposed. Plus, a new dating app wants to help you meet that special someone based on what's inside your refrigerator. And another shoemaker is getting in on the self-lacing shoe trend, and they want you to help them test their new shoe. We'll get started in just a moment, but first we'd like to recognize our partners who help make these podcasts possible. We start with another restaurant chain that's been the victim of a cyber attack, and once again, your credit card or debit card information could be at risk. Huddle House is a restaurant chain located in 24 states, and late last week they announced that a point-of-sale system at some of their corporate and franchised locations was infected with malware. Now, they said in a statement posted on their website that this malware was designed to collect info like your name, credit or debit card number, expiration date, and other details specific to those cards. Huddle House says they don't know how many locations were infected, but they say if you used a payment card at any of their 321 restaurants around the country between August 1st, 2017, all the way to now, your payment information could be at risk. Now, in this case, the crooks apparently got in through a third party's data system, but it's definitely not the first restaurant chains to be hit with a security breach. Over the past couple of years, hackers used similar malware tactics against Chipotle, Cheddar's Scratch Chicken, Arby's, Panera Bread, and Sonic Drive-Ins, and that's just to name the restaurants. A number of other retailers have also lost their customers' payment data through hackers. So if you did visit a Huddle House over the past year and a half or so, you should probably keep a close eye on your payment card statements and your credit score for anything that's out of the ordinary. We recommend that you do that whether you think you've been hacked or not. It's just a good plan. And you can also set up fraud alerts or even put a credit freeze on your account. We've got more information on this breach and all kinds of tips along with other ways to protect your information over at commando.com. And although the Huddle House hack didn't involve sensitive account passwords, keeping those safe from data breaches is still a major part of being online. And now Google's Chrome browser has an extension to let you know if your passwords have ever been exposed in a data breach. Now, once you install this extension called Password Checkup, it goes to work in the background. And that means anytime you're prompted to enter your username and password at sites you visit, the extension is supposed to tell you when it's a combination that Google knows to be unsafe. It'll even give you a pop-up box with an option to change your login information. Now, Google says that most U.S. sites are supported and that they have a database of 4 billion compromised credentials it can check against. And now you're probably wondering about Google's access to your data, which you should be wondering that. They also said that although Password Checkup relies on sending your confidential information to Google, that data is encrypted and they have no way of seeing what it is. If that's true, it would probably be a first. And there are also some similar password monitors out there like 1Password. And if you check to see if your email address or passwords have been compromised yourself with Mozilla's Firefox Monitor, or at Have I Been Pwned? And of course, we have plenty of tips and tricks at commando.com, including ways to create a unique password and passphrase and how to use a password manager. Just ahead, how Samsung wants to help you find the love of your life with your refrigerator. And Facebook just announced a new messenger feature that people have been requesting for a long time. But right now, I want to tell you about our partners at Stitch Fix. You know, life can be really hectic between work, family. You don't always have time to shop for yourself for clothes. Well, that's why we're excited to tell you about Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and lifestyle. Just go to stitchfix.com/Kim and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item. You'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will hand-pick items to send right to your door. Now, you try them on, pay only for what you love, and return the rest. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free, and there's no subscription required. Stitch Fix styling fee is only $20, which is applied toward anything you keep from your shipment. It was really easy to get set up, and I'm looking forward to my first box. You can get started right now at stitchfix.com/Kim, and you'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all the items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/Kim. Well, if you've ever wished a major appliance could help you out with your love life, and who hasn't? Come on, you're in luck. Samsung just launched a new dating app called Refrigerator Dating. You heard it right. It's called Refrigerator Dating. It doesn't involve courting your fridge. Instead, it's about finding the love of your life using Samsung's high-end Family Hub refrigerator. It has a touchscreen built into the door, so up till now, the expensive fridge has been used for things like keeping track of your family's schedule, while a camera pointed at the inside lets you know when it's time to restock your groceries. But now through this app, you can swipe through pictures of other people's fridge to see if things like their choice in cheese might lead to finding your soulmate. A Samsung spokesperson says it allows people to meet under more honest circumstances, since what's in your fridge can tell a lot about your personality, and they even consulted with a real relationship expert during the app's creation. Okay, now, you don't necessarily need a $4,000 fridge to join this club. You can also use the camera on your plain old smartphone to take a picture to share of what's in your refrigerator. Something to keep in mind, though, is the app is available worldwide, but since the refrigerator dating idea originated in Sweden, it's probably where you're going to find your first couple of matches. Actually, I wouldn't mind going to Sweden to meet a match, but that's a whole new ballgame. Hey, if you use Facebook Messenger, there's probably been a time or two when you wish you could unsend a message, and now you can. As expected, Facebook just rolled out a way to delete messages from a conversation in Messenger. So maybe you accidentally sent a message to the wrong person or group, or maybe you had regrets about what you just said, or maybe you don't even like typos. So now you have the power to get those messages back as long as you do it within 10 minutes of sending it. Here's how it works. You can tap the message you want to disappear, and you'll get two options: to either remove for everyone or remove just for you. The remove for you option means you won't see the message anymore, but whoever you're chatting with will still be able to see it. Now, what it doesn't do is make it look like a sent message never happened. Once you delete it, the person or group you're talking to will see the text box in its place of the message that you removed. The feature is available now with the latest version of Messenger for iOS and Android, and it could be helpful in situations like the Facebook bug from a couple of months ago that made Messenger conversations from as far back as years ago show up as new again. So if it happens again, maybe it won't be so awkward. If you're a fan of Star Trek, you probably know about their vision of the future, like transporters and warp drives, and things like that may never happen, but then there's the replicator, which creates food or other objects seemingly out of thin air, and that might actually be here before we know it. Now, 3D printers have been around for years, and it's kind of close to what a replicator does, except that it builds things layer by layer, and it takes a lot of time, which can even mean days. But a new machine goes a step further by printing entire objects all at once and can do it within a couple of minutes. Researchers at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and at the University of California, Berkeley, came up with this new method of 3D printing that uses projected light to turn resin into something that's solid. It works by scanning an object from every angle, and then light is projected onto a tube of synthetic resin. Once a certain intensity of light is reached, it becomes a solid version of whatever was just scanned. Well, now at this point, it can only print things that are small, and it can only use synthetic resin. Oh, and researchers have named it the Replicator as a nod to Star Trek. You might remember that the person who created the first cell phone was also a Star Trek fan, using the communicator as his inspiration. Coming up in just a few moments, AT&T is doubling down on using the 5G name before the next generation network has even rolled out, and another shoemaker is getting into the self-lacing shoe trend. All that in just moments. Right now, a quick thank you to our friends who help make these podcasts possible. As we've talked about many times before, the next generation 5G mobile network is set to start rolling out later this year and continue into 2020. And the key takeaway there is that 5G is not even here yet. But about a month ago, AT&T started changing the LTE logo that appears on the screen of some Android smartphones over to 5G and adding the letter E, which stands for evolution. And there was some pushback, with many calling it misleading since it really is just a slight upgraded version of 4G LTE. Even T-Mobile trolled AT&T with a pretty funny video clip on Twitter, putting a handwritten sticker with 9G in one of their phones. But AT&T is apparently standing by their non-existent 5GE network and doubling down by now adding it to iPhones. And an AT&T spokesperson told CNET that the indicator simply helps customers know when they're in an area where the 5G evolution experience might be available. Now, we can assume that Apple is okay with this new branding since they're allowing it to represent the iPhone as having 5G capabilities. Besides, they've done it before back in 2012, where 4G LTE rolled out and AT&T versions of the iPhone debuted a 4G logo on the screen, even though they were still using the same 3G network. So at least they're consistent. And there's another shoemaker jumping on the self-lacing shoe trend, and they're looking for people actually to test them out. Nike was the first to release self-lacing shoes back in 2015 as a tribute to the Back to the Future Part 2 movie that predicted the tech footwear back in 1989. And this month, they're releasing an upgraded version, and now with a built-in Bluetooth and other features controlled through a smartphone app. Puma released a self-lacing shoe back in 2016, but now they're working on a follow-up, but they're approaching this in a different way from Nike. Puma is looking for people they describe as tech-savvy for beta testers looking for feedback on the shoe's features. Their new version can adapt to your foot by swiping a module on the shoe's tongue, and then adjustments can be made through a smartphone app, just like Nike's. Oh, and these get their power from a wireless charging pad, similar to how modern phones can recharge. So if you want to throw your name in the hat to try the new shoes, download Puma's Puma Track training app on your smartphone and sign up to be notified when registration begins. Puma calls the training shoes PHI, which stands for Foot Intelligence. They're supposed to be released next year and retail for about $330. By the way, once you're done listening to Tech News Today, do us a favor, give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It helps more people find us, and we appreciate that. Finally, for today's Commando Kicker, there's a better way to show your love for your special someone this Valentine's Day. Instead of buying some chocolates from your local grocery store, get them a rare heart-shaped meteorite. It's a 320 million-year-old rarity, and it could be yours for a pretty penny. The Heart of Space will go for auction starting February 6th until the 14th. But how did something this beautiful come into existence? Well, it's estimated that this meteorite was a part of one of the biggest meteorite showers and broke off to eventually land on Earth's surface. The most sought-after meteorites are gently scalloped specimens, which is the category of the Heart Space falls into. It will likely sell between $300,000 and $500,000. That is some Valentine's gift. For more interesting facts, go to Commando.com and search for the Commando Kicker. And that's your Tech News Today. If you enjoyed it, check out our other podcasts where you get tons of great information like our Consumer Tech Update, packed with facts, opinion, and introducing you to the latest going on in tech underneath the surface. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.